going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 22 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be going over the best abilities you should be using on defense right now. Yesterday, there was a big update to the number of ability points you can use on defense, and also the cost of certain abilities in Madden 22, so we got you covered in this video. If it helps you out, if you like it, do me a favor, click that thumbs up button. It shows a lot of support on the channel, helps the videos get noticed. And also, if you're brand new here because you were searching around YouTube for MUT 22 content, you found the right channel. Just stay a while, click that subscribe button, turn that notification bell on as well so you guys are alerted when we drop additional videos. And speaking of additional videos, before we get into the content of this video, yesterday we did the same thing for the best offensive abilities and the best way to utilize your 14 AP on offense. We're going to link that video down below in the comment section as a pinned comment, so if you missed it, be sure to go check it out. We got you covered on offense as well. Now to defense, okay? So we're going to break this down into about 5 different positional groups or categories and the best abilities for each type of group, okay? So defensive tackles, then we're going to do outside linebackers and defensive ends. They will be grouped together. Middle linebackers, safeties, and then cornerbacks. We got you covered on everything. So let's start with defensive tackles, okay? The middle of your defensive line. There's a couple different abilities that you can be using. Some of my favorites, and I'll show you the cards, that I'm using on my squad and the abilities, of course. So when it comes to defensive tackle, I would say there's 3 to 4 abilities you can use, and depending on the archetype is going to dictate the cost of it. So if you have a run stopper archetype defensive tackle, inside stuff is great. I've been running a lot of dime 146 lately, which leaves me very vulnerable to the run game, right? Because we only have 1 defensive tackle and 2 defensive ends. You can run inside zones and halfback dives on it fairly easy. So I personally have inside stuff there to get those block sheds, right? Quicker run sheds against inside zone plays. It helps out. It's not 100% working all the time, but it helps. If you run a defense where you have a lot of 4 down linemen, you probably don't really need inside stuff, but it's a good ability. If you can get it on a run stopper defensive tackle for 1 AP, it's good. Other DTs that are not run stoppers, it's 2 AP. You do have a total of 18 on defense now, 18 AP to go through, but if it's more than 1 AP, I don't recommend using it. So some other good abilities, and we switched over to Javon Hargrave, who is a speed rusher archetype. One of them, and you can use this on defensive tackles and defensive ends, is under pressure. 2 ability points, larger area of effect for QB pressure and disruption. So if you're facing a QB that has bad deep or mid accuracy, you can affect their throw, make it inaccurate. It can lead to interceptions. It's not a bad ability if you can get it for 2 AP. I don't think there's any archetype that will give you it for 1 AP. One ability that is really good and a lot of the pros use, and it's great because you can put it on defensive ends, defensive tackles, outside linebackers, and I'm pretty sure everywhere, regardless of archetype, it's only 1 AP, is unpredictable. Shed wins are less likely to add to a blocker resistance. So if you guys were unaware, basically blocker resistance, offensive line kind of has points when it comes to blocking, and when you do the same moves, and when I don't say when the AI does the same moves, they're not able to get to the quarterback as often, so unpredictable helps with that, and basically you're going to get more sheds, okay, because it's less likely to be resisted by the offensive line. One other quick pro tip, if you have a nice, a really good MUT team, and you have a lot of depth at the outside linebacker and defensive tackle and left and right end positions, you can sub players in and out throughout the game. That's going to help that blocker resistance. It's going to stop it from getting built up from your opponent's offensive line. So if you have your starting defensive line in for the first quarter, and then you switch to a second defensive line for the second, and then maybe back to the starters for the third, and then a random combination of both for the fourth, you can mix it up how you want. It usually leads to more pass rush, in my opinion. It was really good last year. It hasn't been as good this year, but it still works. And that with unpredictable, really good combination. Love this ability because it's only 1 AP. 2 other ones that you can use. Defensive rally. If you can get this for 1 AP, I think it's worth it. Adds a pass rush point to all linemen on 3rd and 4th down. Very crucial downs when it comes to playing defense. And for 1 AP, It essentially affects your entire defensive line. That's why I like it. Now let's talk about outside linebackers and defensive ends. We did group them together, but they are a little bit different in some situations. Edge threat elite being one of them. This ability basically got a buff yesterday, okay? So it was -1 on the ability cost across every type of player, every type of archetype. So only 3 AP for an edge threat elite, dominant edge rush, moves, and increased QB pressure. So it almost kind of has like an under pressure built into it. And for 3 AP, I'm still kind of testing it out, but it's worth trying out. It works for defensive ends. I believe for outside linebackers, it's 4 AP. We'll take a look at my OLBs in a moment. But Edge Threat Elite is one of the higher tier pass rushing abilities you can use on your defensive ends. Yesterday, with the offensive update to AP, they made it so Edge Protector is now more expensive with 2 ability points for your left tackle and right tackle. So a lot of people think with Edge Threat Elite getting buffed and the offensive line kind of costing more, that pass rush is going to be very good now. If you can't afford Edge Threat Elite, you can always go with regular Edge Threat. You do have defensive rally here on defensive ends as well. I actually have it equipped on this Aaron Donald. And then, of course, my favorite is the unpredictable ability. We have this on some other players, just not on him. But one more time, you see it's only 1 AP for this card. You can put it on 3 or 4 defensive linemen at a time. That mixed in with like defensive rally or under pressure, you can cause a lot of havoc passing or rushing the passer. So on to outside linebackers, who we are kind of grouping in with defensive ends because primarily they're the outside of your defensive line. You'll notice here, Edge Threat Elite, 4 ability points. I can't equip it on DeMarcus Ware for that reason. I mean, I can, but it would cost me 1 more AP. So it's a little bit more expensive. I would try to get it on your defensive ends if you have them starting. Edge Threat, 2 AP though, so that one is not more expensive. On outside linebackers, only Edge Threat Elite. You have defensive rally here. Notice this one is 2 ability points, whereas I believe it was 1 ability point for the majority of the other cards at defensive tackle or defensive end. And then, of course, one more time, unpredictable, only 1 AP. I highly recommend. There's probably 2 abilities on defense. Acrobat's going to be one of them. When we get to cornerbacks, we'll talk about it. But Acrobats and Unpredictable, I think, if anything, are the 2 abilities you have to have. You got to sprinkle it a little bit on your defense, regardless of who it's on. So with middle linebackers, I'll admit it, I don't have a ton of expertise or experience on the abilities that you're going to use, because I literally don't put middle linebackers on the field a lot of the times, only in like very heavy run situations or running downs. So I don't really know the greatest abilities from experience, but I can tell you what most people do, okay? So there's mainly 2 types of archetypes when it comes to middle linebackers. There's Field General, and then there's Run Stopper. For Field General, if it's a player you're going to be using, Lurker is a really good ability, and the fact that it's only 1 AP is very good. Spec catch animations for lurking defenders. And of course, you can always go with Acrobat, which is going to be 2 ability points on a middle linebacker with Field General archetype. Other than that, for Field Generals, I don't really recommend anything. I mean, you can go with Pick Artist, right? If you're not user controlling your middle linebacker and there's a ball that's tipped in the air, Pick Artist is going to help them catch that football. It's very sad that you need an ability for your defense to catch the ball, but at this point, it is what it is. Better catching and improved stamina on interceptions after returns. For a middle linebacker that's a Field General archetype, Enforcer at 1 AP isn't bad. The other one that you can go with is Deflator. The only problem is Deflator 3 AP on a Field General archetype. Now, on a Run Stopper archetype, Enforcer is 1 AP, Demoralizer is 1 AP, Deflator is only 2 AP, so those are things that you can go with. Lurker also on a Run Stopper archetype is only 1 AP, so it's not a bad idea, right, to go with like Enforcer and Lurker for either a middle linebacker that's Field General or Run Stopper, because that's 2 ability points to basically, possibly get fumbles with Enforcer, and then also you got the lurking ability for the passing. Now on to cornerbacks, and it's my belief, and I think a lot of pros would agree with me here, that you have to have like a minimum of 3 Acrobats out there. If you haven't been playing the game or you have no idea how good Acrobat is, I don't know how you could not, but diving swats and interceptions. This is whether you're usering the player or AI controlled. It literally can be a game changer with the diving animations that Acrobat gives you. And I'm pretty sure all around it's 2 AP for every type of cornerback and safety. We'll get to safeties in a moment. But out of 18 ability points that you have on defense, you should allocate 6 of those to at least your outside cornerbacks and then maybe your slot corner. For me, I actually have it on, I think, 5 total players, 2 safeties, and 3 cornerbacks. We will show you our total defense and all of the abilities I have on specific players, but you got to go with Acrobat. Now, some other good options on defense for abilities. I'm seeing a lot of people go back to one step ahead. A lot of people, at least the players I've been facing, not so much running one step ahead, but a lot of people running man coverage exclusively. It can become a nuisance. I talked about this in the offensive video yesterday and the ways to counter it on offense. So another reason why you're going to want to go watch that video. But one step ahead, 5 ability points on zone corners. On man-to-man corners, it is only 4 ability points. And when 18 are available, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see people using 8 AP or maybe even 12 AP on 2 or 3 of their cornerbacks now if they're man-to-man archetypes. You can rock pick artists on your corners as well for only 1 ability point. This is one that got a buff yesterday. I think it went -1 in ability point cost for all archetypes and all positions. So pick artist is an option. I like it on my safeties more, which we'll show you in a moment. You can always go with like deep in zone KO, deep out zone KO are always good. The mid zone KOs are pretty solid as well, especially when you can get these types of abilities for 1 AP, but at the end of the day, you just need acrobats. And the last group, safety. So a couple different options you can go with. You can go with acrobats. So for this Brian Dawkins specifically, I don't have acrobat on there, but Isaiah Simmons, Taylor Mays, I do have acrobat activated. I had 1 more ability point left over, so I put pick artist on him. And my whole thinking behind that, right, as I mentioned earlier, I do run a lot of dime 146 right now, which means 2 of my safeties are more so like linebackers or sub linebackers. They are, closer to the line of scrimmage. So Taylor Mays, Isaiah Simmons, I put acrobat on them because I occasionally user them, and balls in the middle of the field, they're going to basically get that diving animation. So it's good if you have your safeties that are higher up, like that play over the top, like a Dawkins in this situation. Derwin James for me is the other one. Pick artist is not a bad idea for the balls that go downfield, especially if your cornerback tips it or drops the pick, which happens all the time to me. If that ball is bobbling in the air and the safety's in the area, he can get that interception. It's going to light up. It's going to activate with pick artist. So I like the thinking to put the pick artist, because it's only 1 AP, on your safeties that play more so over the top. Some other abilities worth trying out on your safeties, the deep out zone and deep in zone KO, again, because those are going to be passes that are a little bit further down the field. And then also the flat zone KO, that's going to be more so on safeties that maybe play closer to the line of scrimmage. If you run a lot of flat zone defense, right, because people love to throw down in the flats there with like table routes, and you can kind of use that to cover wheel routes as well. For 1 AP, it's not a bad idea, but at the end of the day, pick artist and acrobat on your safeties and your corners is really the go-to move. And that's pretty much it. That wraps up like every positional position on your defense and where to use your abilities. You guys let me know if there's any abilities on any position that you think I may have missed out on. So here is my AP again at 18. We have a lot going on. So Aaron Donald has defensive rally and edge threat elite. Amani Arurie or Ruie, I got it right on my card review. I probably killed it there. We have acrobat on him. Mean Joe Greene has unpredictable and inside stuff. Marshawn Lattimore has acrobat. Night Train Lane has acrobat. DeMarcus Ware has unpredictable. We got pick artist on Brian Dawkins, acrobat on Isaiah Simmons, acrobat on Taylor Mays. When you take a look at it, I mean, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different players on the defense who pretty much play every down for me that have at least 1 ability on them. Because you can get 18 ability points, there's a lot of mixing and matching that you can do, a lot of really good abilities for just 1 and 2 ability points. And hopefully this video helped you out and made you some decisions on what you're going to be rocking on defense. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.